Calcutta, 1889. The Imperial Library holds its breath in the punishing June heat, dust motes suspended like frozen time above 10,000 forgotten lives. Dr. Priya Venkataramaiah presses deeper into the archive's lower vaults, following a cataloging error, a trunk misregistered beneath a colonel's unremarkable name. The lock yields. The smell rises first. Salt, dried jasmine, something faintly resinous, as though the sea itself had been folded inside. Beneath oilcloth wrappings, letters emerge. Dozens, perhaps hundreds, their ink still startlingly dark against paper yellowed to the color of old bone. Tamil script curls alongside jagged French Creole phrases. Beneath those, the angular sweep of Scots Gaelic fills an entire folio. 3 languages, 3 worlds, one sealed trunk, buried where no one was meant to look. Priya's hands tremble as she realizes these women were not merely connected, they were conspiring. The letter is barely legible, its ink bloomed by monsoon damp across 2 centuries. But the story it carries is ferocious. The year is 1799. Beyond the scorched walls of Tanjore, East India Company muskets ring the fort like iron teeth. Inside, Rani Meenambika moves through smoke and torchlight, not retreating, but calculating. She has sent her children south with the grain merchants. She has kept her swords. For 3 nights, her defenders hold the ramparts with black powder reserves meant for a single engagement. The air tastes of burning neem and blood. Company dispatches from the period record an unnamed impediment. A single word, crossed out. They erased her name, but not her consequence. And buried within the letter's final crumbling lines, Priya finds something the company could never have anticipated. A second name, written in Haitian Creole. The Gaelic letters are fragile as ash, their ink bleeding into paper that smells of peat smoke and decades of deliberate silence. Priya's fingers trace words that should not exist. A woman's name, written in a hand fierce enough to press through 3 layers of vellum. Catriona MacPhail. After Culloden, when the Highland glens turned red and then terribly quiet, she did not weep. She organized. In the blue dark of winter mornings, across frozen moorland that swallowed soldiers whole, she moved. A shadow the redcoats could never quite grasp, a flame the clan historians chose to extinguish. Erased from song, absent from monument, her resistance survives only in these trembling pages, addressed to women on the other side of the world. And they wrote back. The 3rd letter arrives, folded inside a rotting sugarcane ledger, its ink bloomed rust red from decades of Caribbean humidity. Marie Claire Fontaine. Born in the fire year of 1791, daughter of a Dessalines lieutenant, survivor of Vertières. Priya's fingers tremble as she holds the crumbling page toward the archive's gaslight. Here is a woman who bled for Haitian sovereignty, who mapped colonial supply routes in cipher, who pressed her grief and her fury into encoded journals hidden beneath convent floors in Port-au-Prince. And impossibly, here is her hand, writing to a Scottish glen and a Rajasthan fortress. The network crystallizes before Priya's astonished eyes. 3 continents, 3 women, one invisible thread of resistance binding them across oceans and decades. What remains to be discovered is whether that thread, even now, has been deliberately cut. The oil lamps of the Imperial Library burn low against the Calcutta dusk, casting trembling amber shadows across 10,000 forgotten spines. It is here, between the smell of damp monsoon air and crumbling vellum, that the warning reaches her. wordless, urgent, pressed into her palm on a folded scrap of clerk's notepaper. A senior archivist, powerful, connected, has already moved against the trunk. The word, destroyed, sits on an official requisition like a sentence of execution. Someone knows. The correspondence that crossed 3 oceans, that linked warrior women the Empire worked so hard to silence, has drawn precisely the kind of attention Priya feared. She stands motionless, the note dissolving in her damp fingers. The archive suddenly transformed from sanctuary into trap. What she does in the next 12 hours will determine whether these women are lost to history or finally, irrevocably, found. The Thar Desert swallows sound. Priya moves through corridors of sandstone the color of dried blood, her lantern throwing trembling gold against walls that have not known footsteps in 40 years. The air tastes of dust and forgotten centuries. Then, a doorway, barely shoulder wide, sealed behind a collapsed arch. Inside, carved into the living rock with painstaking devotion, are names. Not battle honors. Not the names of kings. Women's names, in Tamil, in Creole, in Gaelic script, etched deep enough to outlast empires. Someone built this deliberately. A memorial hidden from every official record, every colonial ledger, every erasure. Priya's fingers traced the carved letters, her breath catching. These women did not simply correspond. They grieved for each other. They remembered each other. And somewhere buried beneath these names lies the most dangerous secret of all. Calcutta, August 1889. The air inside the Imperial Library hangs thick with monsoon damp and the acrid ghost of old ink. Priya Venkataramaiah stands before the senior archivist's mahogany desk, the battered trunk pressed against her leg like an anchor. The declaration sits before her. White paper, black demands, a pen offered with the practiced calm of institutional authority. Gas lamps cast trembling shadows across rows of leather-bound silence. She does not reach for the pen. Her hands remain still, deliberate, folded over decades of erased women. Rani, Cécile, Mary, whose voices have survived precisely because they refused erasure themselves. The archivist's composure fractures, barely. Priya gathers the trunk. Outside, the monsoon breaks open the sky. Somewhere within those rescued letters lies a name she has not yet found, and that name, she now understands, is the most dangerous discovery of all. The candle burns low, but Priya does not sleep. Spread across the archive table, beneath the amber haze of gaslight and the thick Calcutta midnight, 3 decades of silence finally collapse into meaning. A letter from Martinique. A coded ledger from Rotterdam. A Rajput seal pressed into wax the color of old blood. The threads converge. Through French sugar merchants and Dutch textile traders, these women had whispered across oceans. Nangeli's kin in Kerala, the unnamed commander of Milo's ruins, a Highland widow who signed only with a thistle. Not coincidence. Architecture. A living, breathing sisterhood of resistance, engineered in shadow because daylight would have killed them. Priya's hands tremble as she pins the final connection to the board. The network is real, and someone in this very city has known it all along. November 1889. In a narrow press house on Cornwallis Street, the smell of hot ink and damp paper fills the air as the first sheets roll off a hand-cranked Stanhope press. Dr. Priya Venkataramaiah stands at the doorway, her sari dusty from 3 days without rest, watching her words become permanent. The pamphlet bears no imperial imprimatur, no colonial seal of approval, Only the names of 3 women, printed in Tamil, French, and Gaelic, beneath a dedication that colonial clerks will later attempt to strike from every surviving copy. 140 pages of recovered truth, wrapped in coarse brown paper, loaded into handcarts before dawn. Priya holds a single copy to her chest, feeling the warmth of fresh ink against her palms. The world may not yet be ready to listen. But somewhere, already, someone dangerous is beginning to read. In the amber glow of a single oil lamp, Priya Venkataramaiah bends over her journal, her pen scratching like a blade across the silence. The ink blooms dark and certain. And somewhere beyond the crumbling archives, beyond the scorched desert stone and the rain-soaked highland moors and the strangled roots of the Haitian jungle, 3 women stand together at last, unmarked by any monument, unnamed in any official ledger, yet utterly, magnificently present. Priya's hand does not tremble. She has carried their ghosts across 2 years and 3 continents, and now she gives them what no empire ever would: a witness. History, she writes, is not what was recorded. It is what refused to be silenced. The lamp flickers. Somewhere in Calcutta, a door opens that was never meant to be found.